everyone. Let us begin with a prayer. This is on page 128 of the Universal Prayers, the first one on that page. This is from the Brahma Purana. This is a prayer to Lord Hari to save us from this miseries of this worldly existence. Om Yam dhyayanti buddha samadhi samaye Shuddham yat sannibham Nityanandamayam prasannamamalam Sarveshwaram nirgunam Vyakta vyakta param prapancharahitam Dhyanaika gamyam vibhum Tam samsara vinashahetumajaram Vande harim muktidam. We offer my salutations to the Lord Hari, the destroyer of all worldliness and bestower of salvation, and the undecaying and infinite being, the one who is attainable through meditation alone, who is free from illusion and beyond the manifest and the unmanifest, the one who is of the form of the bliss of blissful eternal, the one who is of the form of bliss eternal, who is gracious, taintless, and without any attributes, who is the overlord and one who is pure and limitless like the space, like Akasha, and who is contemplated in Samadhi by the wise. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Many of the Puranas, almost all the Puranas have hymns to various deities, and this one is from the Brahma Puranam. We have to do verse number 45. In the preceding 3 verses, Bhagavan Shri Krishna described the various categories of people required in any society. Each class of people has its own duties and each category of people contributes to the well-being of the whole society. Everyone's work is essential. Now, in sloka number 45, he is going to explain how, regardless of what kind of work a person does, everyone, whether a person is a householder or a sannyasi or a monk, regardless of all these considerations, everyone can achieve liberation, God realization, by doing their own duties as worship. That is what we are going to study now. Sloka number 45. So one does not have to change one's line of work to reach the highest goal of life. Whatever is my swadharma, my duty at the present time, if I do it with devotion as worship, my mind becomes pure and then paves the way for God realization, pure devotion, self-knowledge, all. How it is done is explained in the next few verses. Verse number 45. Sve sve karmanya virataha samsiddhim labhate naraha swakarma niratas siddhim yatha vindati tachrunu. Sve sve karmani, in one's own respective duty. Everyone has duty to perform. Students, householders, monks have their own duties. Retired people have their own duties. They just change the nature of work. That is all. So work everyone has to do. That we saw in the 3rd chapter. You cannot stop working even for a short moment of time. Nahi kaschit kshanamapi jatu tishtati akarmakrat. Akarmakrat means without performing any action. Even for a moment, kshanamapi, no one can stay. We are all performing work. The nature of work may be different. And he says in the same chapter, 3rd chapter, even the maintaining of the body becomes difficult, impossible, if you don't want to work, if you refuse to work. Sharira yatra pichate na prasiddheda karmanaha. Sharira yatra means continuing the journey of the body. Sharira, it has to continue until the natural end comes and it stops functioning. That's our duty. Because this human birth, this human body, human mind are very precious gifts. And we have been given those gifts. And we have to use these precious gifts, body, mind, sense organs, for the purpose for which they were given to us, namely to know our true nature. Instead, if you identify with the body, mind, and forget to reach the goal of life, then we'll have wasted this precious human birth. This gift of human birth is very precious, rare to come by, accrues only by the grace of God that we knew from earlier studies. Manushyatvam, mumukshutvam, mahapurusha samshraya. These 3 things. Manushyatvam means human birth and human qualities. Not enough if you just have a human body, but human qualities must be there. Human qualities, aspiration to know one's true nature, virtues such as compassion, truthfulness, all these qualities must be there. Simply being a human being without these virtues will not achieve anything. So Manushyatvam, first gift, we all have been granted that. Itself is a great gift. Second thing is that we all have, to more or less extent, somehow this mumukshutvam is desire for liberation. Moksha means liberation. Mumukshutvam means desire for liberation. After some reflection, a person realizes that this world is not the highest. This life experience in this world is not the highest. There is something deeper, beyond what is visible. That is our true nature. That's what the scriptures say. That's what the teachers, illumined teachers, have been teaching for centuries. So I have to realize that I cannot be content with this limited knowledge, erroneous knowledge that I am the body mind. That kind of conviction will come only after some reflection. Without reflecting, if a person simply goes on day-to-day life without taking larger picture, who am I, where did I come from, what will happen to me, if you don't take that, consider those questions and taking the big panorama of life, we spend day-to-day activities and nothing happens. No, reflection is necessary. Then we see the goal of life, mumukshutvam. Then third requirement is mahapurusha samshrayaha, the blessings of a holy person, Mahatma. You all have that one. So with these 3 gifts, Manushyatam, human qualities, human life, human birth, human qualities, Mamukshutvam, desire for liberation, Mahapurusha Samsriyaha, the company of blessings of a holy person. You all have that one. Given these precious gifts, then we have to reach the goal of life, which is to know our true nature, Atmajnanam, or devotion to God, Parabhakti, Prema Bhakti. This can be done by everybody, regardless of their profession. That's the main point in the sloka 44. regardless of one's profession or stage in life, one can reach the goal of life. How? Sve sve karmani abhirataha, by engaging oneself in one's own respective karma, duty. How a person can achieve liberation? Samsiddhim katham labate. That is going to be explained in this and the next verse. 46th verse gives the key to this one. So karma nirataha, engaged in one's own duty, yatha siddhim vindati, how a person achieves perfection. Srunu, listen to that. He is going to explain. Now this already creates the futility of changing one's profession to achieve something else. Wherever you are placed in life, there if you do our work with diligence, that will take us to the goal. Numerous examples are there in our Sanatana Dharma tradition and Christian tradition. The famous example that comes to my mind is Brother Lawrence. He was in the monastery, but unlike other monks in the monastery who had the time to go to the chapel 5 times a week as they are required to go for regular prayer, this Brother Lawrence didn't have that opportunity because he was working in the kitchen, monastery kitchen. And all that too with handicap, health was not good, leg was injured. He also achieved the same God realization, pure love for devotion. He achieved pure love, prema bhakti he achieved by doing his own duty as a cook. And then later, when he could not do the work as a cook in the kitchen, standing, those days in the 17th century, there were no modern facilities we have in the modern kitchen. No electricity, no running water, no hot water, no food processor, no microwave, nothing. Everything had to be done by hand. And he did that as if it is worship. And then he was transferred, when he could not do that cooking any longer, he was transferred to the shoe repair shop in the monastery. What is glamorous about repairing somebody else's shoes? But he did it as worship. It was his worship. Who wears the shoes I repair? He asked himself, the Lord himself. How he got that information, that conviction, we don't know, because he was not a scholar, did not study scriptures. But it's exactly what Bhagavan Sri Krishna says in our scripture, Bhagavad Gita. Doing your own duty, whatever it be, sve sve karmani abhirataha, naraha samsiddhim labate. There is no need to change our karma. No need to become a sannyasi for a good householder. If you are following Grihastha Dharma properly, you will reach goal as a Grihastha. And being a Grihastha, if somebody wants to pretend like a sannyasi, that won't work. The opposite is also true. A sannyasi must practice renunciation. Should not hanker for money, wealth, position, power, fame. Shouldn't accept anything other than the most basic necessities, food and piece of cloth. That we can only accept. Nothing more than that, aparigraha. And if a sannyasi gives up his dharma of renunciation, prayer, and then tries to be a householder, that will be ruinous. So should not change your dharma, because what can be achieved as a sannyasi, the same goal can be achieved as a householder. Similarly, sometimes in news we read, some ordinary person with no medical training pretends to be a doctor in a hospital. He puts on the white coat and a stethoscope, and people think he's a doctor. But he has not gone to medical school. Such cases have happened. That is ruinous. Eventually, it was discovered and was put in jail. That won't work. For a few days, you can fool everybody, but you can't fool everybody all the time. That is not whatever is my duty, where God has kept me, in whatever condition, with whatever work to do, there I stay and serve Him. Everybody does not have to be the chief of a place, head of a place. Everybody does not have to study Vedas and do Sanskrit learning and scripture, everything. Whatever work is come to my Lord, doing it with great devotion, with joy, with gratitude as worship, we reach our goal. Nothing can be simpler than this. That he is going to explain in the next sloka. 46 is the key sloka. It has so many times I've mentioned it even before. This one sloka itself is enough to show us the path. Here it says, number 46, Yata pravrittirbhutanam yena sarvamidam tatam sakarmana tamabhyarchya siddhim vindati manavaha. Sakarmana, by one's own duty. Everybody's duty is different. And one thing to be noticed about duty is not constant. For a given person, duty changes with the time. In the course of the same day, duty will change. What was my duty in the morning is not my duty now, and the Swami my duty in the evening. For me, it changed. What was my duty yesterday? Today it's different. What my duty was 10 years ago, today it is different. So duty changes to the same person with the time and circumstances where that person is. And duty changes different for different people at the same time. What is my duty now is not the duty of everybody else. They have different duties to do, their own duties to do. By doing our own duty, whatever it be, even if it has some unpleasant aspect, sadoshamapi, you'll see that one. There's no perfect work. There's no perfect line of work. Every field of activity, every profession has some positive aspects and some negative aspects. That's the nature of work. We'll come to that in the next sloka. Yata, sloka number 46. Swakarmana tamabhyarcha. Worshipping him. Tam means him, whom you will understand. Abhyarcha, worshipping. By how? By doing my swakarma as worship. What happens? Manavaha, a human being, siddhim vindati, achieves perfection. Now, what is perfection? What goal which will we reach if I do my duty as worship? In the commentary, Shankara says, perfection consisting in the eligibility for the discipline of knowledge. He says, Jnana Nishta Yogyata Lakshana Siddhihi. Mind becomes pure and one-pointed, concentrated. If you do all your duties in a selfish way as a worship, and that with that mind which is pure and concentrated, pure mind, we can achieve everything. God realization, if you want bhakti, devotion, pure devotion, you want self-knowledge, you can get that. That is the instrument. A pure mind, with that you can achieve anything. Jnanis seek self-knowledge with a pure mind. Devotees seek pure devotion with a pure mind. They will succeed. And they are not so different. They appear so different the paths are different, but they are the same in the ultimate goal. It appears the bhakti is quite different from jnana in the beginning level because the practices are different. Jnani says, I am not the body mind, I am Atman, I am Brahmasmi. Meditates on that one. Difficult for most people. Bhakta says, I am separate from God, I am God's child, I am a God's servant, I am a God's devotee, I serve him. I love him, I worship him. But either way, if you reach God or self-knowledge, you will have also the other one. Sri Ramakrishna said, if you achieve pure devotion, dear mother herself will give you self-knowledge. You get one, the other one also you get. Two for the price of one. How that can be achieved? By doing our own duty. We don't have to change anything, go to the forest. Living in our own room here, we can achieve God. I don't have to go to Himalayas, live in a cave or to some forest and live right here, doing whatever I am required to do, my duty. By doing here my duty diligently as if it is worship, then I'll be worshipping the Lord all the time. If you do all our actions as worship, what happens? Our whole life becomes one unbroken stream of worship. When am I not worshipping God? Every step I take is worship of God. Every word I say is worship of God. Everything I hear is worship of God. In this way, even eating is worship of God. That is why in the 9th chapter, 15th chapter, eating is worship of God. So anytime, that means all the time you are worshipping Him, if you are aware of that one. Everything I'm doing is His worship. If we think like that, we'll be worshipping God. Mind becomes pure, free from selfishness, attachment, anger, jealousy, lust, etc. Once that is achieved, purity of mind is achieved, God realization, self-knowledge is immanent, will come. Manava siddhi mendati. Whom are we worshipping? We don't have clear idea of God. We talk about God a lot without our Atman a lot. We whole lot. We talk about Atman, Brahman, but we should have some starting idea, and you can, as you make progress in the spiritual life, the ideas become clearer and clearer, finally culminate in experience. Until that, you have to have some idea. Whom are we worshipping? The answer is given in the first line of Shloka 46. Yatah pravrittirbhutanam yena sarvamidam tatam. Two things. Yatah means from whom, bhutanam pravrittihi, all the beings have come into existence. Pravritti means coming into existence. From whom every whole creation comes from the Lord. This all religions accept. Christians say God created the world, and we say God created the world. That is, He is the source. We created means He is the source. From Him everything has come. Bhutanam pravritti yataha, from whom. Not only that, not only creation, He sustains the world, makes everything happen. As you saw earlier, everything happens by the power of God present in everything. I cannot even blink once unless God's presence is there within me, making it possible. The Kena Upanishad, some of you are studying, there this same thing. By whom? Ordained by whom everything functions. The mind functions, sense organs function. Ear can hear sound, with power of God is there. Eyes can see something, power of God makes it possible. Sun shines because of power of God in the sun makes it shine. Earth rotates and supports life by the power of God in the earth. It says in the Gita 15th chapter. 15th chapter and 14th chapter and 12th chapter. In the 12th chapter, in the 7th chapter also, he says, Prabhasmi Shashi Suryayo. Shashi means moon, Surya means sun. Shashi Suryayo. In this moon and the sun, Prabha Asmi, I am the effulgence, God's presence there. Without that, sun cannot shine, moon cannot convert sunlight into moonlight, the earth cannot rotate, people cannot live, plants cannot live, nothing. By His power. Yatah pravrittir bhutanam, by whom the whole universe has come into existence. Yena, by whom idam sarvam tatam. This whole universe is pervaded. There is no place or nothing in which He is not. In some, His presence is clearly visible. In some, it remains hidden from you. But He is there in everyone. In the same way. Now more in some, not more in some, less in others. We studied it on the 13th chapter. Chapter 13, Shloka 27. The Lord clearly says, I am present in the hearts of all. The same way. But some people appear to be very holy people. God's presence is there, clearly visible. In some, it is opposite. But in both of them, He is present in the same way. But the difference is in the person's purity of mind, personality. If I purify my mind, make it free from all impurity, selfishness, anger, jealousy, lust, greed, then everybody, not only I, everybody can see God's presence in me. That's what great saints, Ravana Maharshi, all the people have done the same thing. And in an ordinary person, God's presence is there but not clearly visible. In a wicked person, God's presence is there but not all visible, covered. To illustrate this, one example can be given. Swami Brahmarupananda gave this example many years ago. Imagine there are 4 bulbs, 100 watts each, connected to the same power line. 4 bulbs are there, 400 watts each. Every bulb has the same power. Now, you take duct tape or cardboard and wrap around the one of the bulbs completely, totally, several layers. And you take the same duct tape or cardboard and wrap around one layer in the to the second bulb. And the remaining third bulb, we leave it alone. Turn the switch on. All the bulbs are glowing. But one you cannot see anything, still fully covered thick with thick layers of duct tape and it's glowing inside. The second one, which has only one layer of it, glow you can see, but very dim light is coming. The third one, full light is visible. Nothing is covered. Our minds are like that. These minds of great sages are like bulb which is not covered by anything. All the ignorance and make our minds confused and impure, they have been removed, cleared. Full presence of God is visible in that. But the same divinity is present in the same extent in the other bulb also, which is fully covered with layers of ignorance, then it is there, you cannot see. So his presence is same. To remember this one, I suggest one shloka. Chapter 13, shloka 27. Swamiji quoted this shloka in his lecture, Swami Vivekananda. There the Lord says, Samam sarveshu bhuteshu tishtantam parameshwaram. Sarveshu bhuteshu samam. Notice the word samam, equally. Tishtantam parameshwaram. The Lord is sitting. Sarveshu bhuteshu, in all the beings. But in some we can see his presence clearly. We call them Mahatmas. If you just go near them, you will find they don't have to say anything or do anything. Just their ambience. This place is full of peace and joy, radiates peace and joy. If you go to some other person, you get bad vibes. Something wrong. This I don't feel comfortable going with, spending time with him. In both of them, same God is there to same extent. But this person's mind is covered with lot of ignorance, lust, anger, jealousy, pride, all these things. He can also become like this one. Same potential is there. But some work is needed to remove the ignorance. Only to remove the ignorance, not to bring God there. He's already there. All the spiritual practices that we do are meant to achieve only one purpose, namely to remove the ignorance, make the mind pure. Then presence of God will become expedient. It's already there. If God is absent in me now, and if by self-effort, if I bring God, all effort produces a limited result only, then sometime the God's presence will go away. That's not the point. That's not the case. The fact is, He is present in all and everyone all the time unconditionally. Even now, He's there. That's our true nature. But some have succeeded in removing the ignorance, feeling His presence, experiencing His presence all the time. We call them Mahatmas. And some are in the process, like we are somewhere, and some are not interested in anything. They are leading the life of selfish life of evil kind of life. So we are somewhere in between. His presence is there. Worshipping Him. Yatah pravrittir bhutanam. From whom this whole universe has come, all the beings have come. Yena sarvamidam tatam. By whom this whole is pervaded. Worshipping Him. Tam abhyarchya. How? Many different kinds of worships are possible. We can do ritualistic worship as we did last Sunday. 16 time offering, chanting mantras and everything. One kind of worship. Here the kind of worship that the Lord is asking as the simplest kind of worship. By doing your own duty, swakarma, as worship, that becomes worship. Your work does not have to change. If you have some job to do in the workplace, that is your place of worship. You do that job, that is worship, your worship. Mind becomes pure. If your work is at home, cooking, cleaning, doing laundry, driving children to school at one stage of life, that's your worship. You're serving the Lord in the form of all the beings. Whoever is involved in our work, in that same Lord is present. Like Brother Lawrence repaired the shoes, which required repair, and who wears those shoes? Oh, the Lord Himself in the form of other monks. We know all this one from 13th chapter. There is one sloka in the 13th chapter, I think it's sloka number 13. There, Sarvatah Panipadam Tat. I'll give the right number. 13 must be. Oh, this is 5. Sarvatokshishiro Mukham. Yes, 13. Easy to remember. If you remember that one sloka, then whatever work I do is I'm worshipping God. I'm speaking, I'm worshipping God. All of you. If I have that understanding. Otherwise, if I have a teaching job, I don't not interested. Oh, I have to do this, or somehow I have to get go through this one. I'm not interested because I'm forced to be in this job. If you do like that, then no, not worship. Joyfully, with gratitude, with love, prem se. If it work, enormous peace of mind will come. Grudgingly, if you do the work, same work, then it'll make the mind more confused, more selfish. It does not. So karmana tamabhyasham. So 13, if you remember, we are never out of sight from God. He's always there. He's always there 24 hours. Even when I'm asleep, if not aware of him, he's there. Sarvatah pani padam tat. Pani means hand. Padam means feet. Foot. Sarvatokshi shiro mukham. All eyes are God's eyes. He's seeing me through all these eyes. All heads are God's heads. All faces are God's faces. Whichever face I'm seeing God. But if I don't remember this, and why I'm saying this person is so good looking, I'll keep on saying this person not so good looking, I don't want to see, then I'm in the depth of ignorance. In the face of animal, I see face of an elephant or a cow or a dog, his face. Those who have the eyes, they can see him. We can cultivate that eyesight by spiritual practice. I can learn to see God in everyone, which is a fact. But it requires work. Any work that you do. Brother Lawrence is the best example. By doing any ordinary disagreeable work, and more example of that is Rasika. The story has come before, janitor. They all could see God. By doing their own duties as worship, they don't have to. Rasika was a janitor. He didn't have to put on a suit and go to work in the government brushes up. Just keep on doing your devotion to Sri Ram. Your devotion to Sri Ramakrishna. Simple person, no education, nothing. Janitor in the Dakshineshwar. His story is very inspiring. More than that, Amzad, Holy Mother, the person who came to Holy Mother, he was a mulberry farm worker, no education, and the mulberry farm closed because of the silk industry was taken over or replaced by power industry, power loom. These people lost job. They didn't have any other education. They were working in the farm, and there's no farm. So they all started doing different. This man did not know what to do, Amzad. He used to do petty stealing things and went to jail. But one thing, how it happened is not, no, we don't know how he went to Holy Mother, why he went to Holy Mother when he was out of jail. And said, oh, Mother, I have come. I need help. If you say Mother to Amma, then you are 100% protected by her. Accept her as a mother. She has said, Holy Mother has said, I am the mother of the wicked, as I am the mother of the virtuous. When you are in distress, remember to say to yourself, you are mother. So Amjad did that one. Holy Mother blessed him, fed him, making him sit down in. She sat down with him. As a mother is going to feed a child, she fed him. Other people, the family did not like, as he was a Muslim. All those stories you know. But what happened to Amjad? Towards the end of the story, he became a completely Sattvic person, devotee of God. Total transformation. It didn't happen in a moment. It took a long time. But there are instances when in a moment transformation has come. Kalipada Ghosh's example. Why I'm saying all these things is, in whatever stage of life we are, whether a person is a wicked person or a saintly person or a householder, a sannyasi or a child or a male or female, nothing of these matters. Everybody can realize the true nature. It's a birthright of everyone. That's the impasse. Therefore, the caste system which I described it before, that loses meaning. Which caste? In the traditional old caste system, Brahmanas claimed privilege. We are the Brahmanas. We study Vedas and scriptures. We teach. We reach God, and you're only a sweeper. You can't reach God. Like this, they acquired more privilege and power. There's no such thing here. The Lord says, whether you're a janitor cleaning the bathrooms or you're a Brahmana studying Vedas, both of you can reach God by doing your own duty as worship. How simpler and so clearer can it be? So, itah pravrittir bhutanam yerasuramidam tatam, by whom this holiness is pervaded, tababhyarcha, worshipping him, God. You can think of God in any way you like. As a God with name and form like Krishna, Shiva, Rama, if that is your choice. You can think of God as formless, attributeless, Brahman, or anything in between. Your choice, how you think of God. But doing all work as worship, offering adoration to the Lord. Oh, thank you, Lord, for giving me this opportunity and ability to do this work. That itself is a precious gift. Work is a precious gift, not something to be done and gotten out of the way. Any work that comes to our Lord, even it may be unpleasant, is a precious gift. By doing that work, I can reach God. That is studied in the 10th sloka of this chapter, 18th chapter, 10th sloka. Bhagavan says, if your work is unpleasant, don't hate it. If it's pleasant, don't become attached to it. Someday it will change. So, sloka number 10 in chapter 18. Nadveshti akushalam karma kushale nanusajjate. Why I'm saying all these things is, by doing one's own duty as worship, one can reach God. That's the conclusion. By one's own duty, even if it is unpleasant, menial task, does not matter. Is worship. You don't have to go to the Himalaya temple caves and Kedarnath and Badrinath and Manasar. Right here, God is present. Within me is present. Ramana Maharshi didn't stir out from Tiruvannamalai. All his life he spent in that one room. In Houston, there is that Arunachalam, that meditation room that we went there. That remember, and not in Houston, in Tampa. In Tampa, exactly as it is, every square inch is same as the meditation room where Ramana Maharshi sat. Spent this time. One devotee has created in Tampa, like that. So you don't have to go anywhere. He's right here. This moment he's there. If I have the eyes to see him. If I don't have the eyes, I'm covered with ignorance, then God is sitting in front of me. I cannot see or mistake him for something else. Sve yatah pravartir bhutanam yena saramidam tatam, by whom this whole universe is pervaded. Tamabhyarcha, worshipping him. How? Sakarmana, by one's own duty. What happens? Manava siddhi mindati. Perfection will come. Perfection leading to moksha, liberation, or pure devotion, atmajnanam. Purity of mind is the main requirement that will happen by doing all work as worship. Joyfully, nicely, gratefully, thank you. Because we're able to do, ability to work, opportunity to work, are precious gifts. If you're taken away, we don't realize. Then we don't recognize. We take everything for granted. But one of the gifts is taken away from me, then I become miserable. Two gifts are there already. I have received. What are they? Some work to do. And second thing, some ability to do it. I may not be perfect worker, but I can do something. If these two are given to us, which is the fact, we don't need anything more for God realization. You have some work to do and you can do it. That's it. Work is the means to realize God. Sri Ramakrishna said in the gospel. Work is not the goal, work is the means to realize God. So this is sloka number 46. I want all of us to study this sloka many times. Moksha, karmaneva samsiddhi. Each is great in his own place. Swamiji's lecture in Karma Yoga, please read. That says the same thing. A householder lady who was cooking, cleaning, serving her husband, did not know any Vedas or scriptures or Sanskrit, anything. She had knowledge. And the butcher was selling meat, cutting meat and selling meat. Nothing glamorous about it, unpleasant work. That's the job he did. He knew knowledge. But a sannyasi went to the forest and meditated. He didn't get here to learn from these two people. In the story, Dharmaveda story, it's mentioned in Karma Yoga book by Swamiji. Please read, that's very interesting. That means everyone, regardless of their line of work, male or female, can realize God. Because everyone's birthright is God. Is there in everyone. Only ignorance has to be removed. So, Sloka 46 is the key sloka. Yata pravrittirbhutanam yena sarvamidam tatam sakarmana tamabhyarcha siddhim vindati manavaha. Now, that being the case, there's no need to change our duty to realize God. Whatever work you're doing, do that, you will realize God. You don't have to go to the, if I'm born in a Kshatriya family or a Vaishya family, by doing a good Kshatriya, being a Vaishya, I can realize God. I don't have to become a Brahmana to realize God. That's where the mistake happened in the caste system. Sve sve karmani abhirata, previous sloka number 45. Engaged in one's own work. No need to change the line of work to realize God. Now 47 emphasizes that repetition. Seyan swadharmo vigunaha paradharmat swanushthitat sabhava niyatam karma kurvannapnoti kilvisham. Swadharmaha means one's own duty, whatever it be, it changes. Whatever is one's duty, it may change with time, and for different people, Swadharma is different. By doing our own karma, our own dharma, our duty, which has come to us as worship, by that we can reach God. Sriyan Swadharma, Vigunaha. Viguna means our dharma, my duty is not pleasant always, especially that meat cutter in the Yada story, Mahabharata. What's pleasant about cutting and selling meat? But that's he did it as worship. And what is glamorous about being a mother, homemaking mother, cooking, cleaning every day, and serving the husband, children, grandparents, father-in-law, mother-in-law, so all serving them. Nothing glamorous, lot of work. I knew one person, a household devotee, and I knew because they used to sponsor Gita class once a month. And at one stage, at that time, they had 4 young daughters. Now they're all grown up. 2 or 3 of them are doctors. One is a lawyer. They're all set up. At that time, when I was going, they were all in school. Four daughters at in different primate school. Husband was doing his fellowship. He already had his fellowship in oncology. He was doing fellowship in hematology. Those days there were 2 separate. He was very busy. Not much money is coming because he had no practice, only fellowship money. And she do how I watched her 2 days every week. I used to train them. How much work the lady did. Back-breaking work, cooking for these 4. Every child has its own different requirement. Every morning, prepare breakfast, feed the children, take them to school. Husband goes to work. And then when his children come back, prepare snacks and everything, are all hungry. And then to go to their school activities. One child has to go for swimming class, one for soccer class, one for yearbook committee. You have to drive all these people, different directions. And husband, they always were busy working 12 hours, he had no time to do. And I saw that how much laundry she used to do. 4 children, change there is every day, a couple of times. You can imagine the load. Load after load after load. She would do the laundry in the basement, cooking, cleaning. And in between, I'm also there. She has to take care of me. I was so much more. I remember that she, like the Dharmavyada story, that lady, but knowledge, devotion. See, that is the beauty of Sanatana Dharma. Whatever you are doing, do it as worship, you reach God. Nothing can be simpler than that one. Sreyan Swadharmo Vigunaha. Even if Swadharma is Viguna means unpleasant, there is no work which is no unpleasant aspect to it. It appears glamorous from outside. People think if I am only an executive or I'm only a clerk, if I become executive, I'll be enjoy my work more. We become executive, then a lot more pressure than a clerk. For the sales people, the company gives a target. This quarter you must do this much sales. Your responsibility. Just fix the target. If you don't reach it, then you won't. You may not get a rise. You may not even have the job. So much pressure. But a clerk transcribing something, records or billing, that kind of pressure is not there. Same duty is fixed every day. Go to work, do your billing or whatever you're doing, go home. But both can reach God. This clerk person does not have to become an executive to reach God. The executive think, oh, if I become the CEO, glamorous position, where so many people work for me, I can make the policy, become CEO, you find the shoe, where the shoe pinches when you are there. From outside looks glamorous. Same thing about Swami. If you become a Swami, I will have a good time. Free food will come, people do pranam, and you don't have too much duty. So you become a Swami, then every line of work has some defect. That's what he's saying here. Vigunaha api, even if your duty has some negative aspect, in spite of that, that is better to stick your own duty than paradharma anusthana, trying to change, become another, pretending to be somebody else for which I'm not equipped. God has kept me in the most appropriate place because He knows where I fit in. The place where He has kept me, that is the best fit for me. If I make my own decision and change, then the result will not be good. For the time it may appear, sometimes the vigilante people, they take over duties of a police officer. They are not a police officer. They are citizens, but behave like police officer. So many times you see in the news, one fellow somehow gets the uniform of a police officer, pretends to be police officer. He is not. Once he is caught, he will be sent to jail. Whatever duty you have, even if it is unpleasant, do it as worship. Every work has some unpleasant aspect, not visible from the outside. It looks so glamorous from the outside. When you go there, you will see the disadvantages of it. There's no perfect work which is free from defect. No such work. Paradharmasanushthitat. Better to one's own dharma very well, even if it is defective, than to try to change your dharma, become somebody else for which you are not equipped. Swabhava niyatam karma. By performing the duty which has come to you by Swabhava. Why have I become a Swami and somebody has become an engineer, somebody become a doctor? Their Swabhava propels them in that direction. Their innate nature, Swabhava means, earlier he defined Swabhava as the sum total of all the impressions we have created in our minds by previous actions, thoughts, and deeds. That's what I am. So that Swabhava propels me in some direction. Some school children, they want to know that one child, I went to North Carolina, someplace for a children's class was there. So I asked every child, what do you want to become when you grow up? They all said different things. One child said, I want to become an underwater ocean explorer, something. Only in middle school. Another child says, I want to have a Lamborghini. At that time, I did not know what Lamborghini was. Sounds like some Italian pastor. And what is Lamborghini? It's expensive car. Like that, every child had its own view of what he or she wanted to do. How is that possible? Because of Swabhava. We are propelled, in spite of we are propelled in the direction in which our Swabhava takes us, where our Swabhava takes. By doing our own Swakarma, Swabhavaniyatam karma, Kurvan, doing that one, Kilbisham na apnoti, does not achieve, does not incur sin. I give an example. Supposing there is a police officer doing the patrol in his car, two people are there. And then they get a call on the police phone, such as a block in such area where to go, some burglary is happening there. So they go there. And then burglaries breaking into somebody's house, holding somebody hostage or something. Then they have to use force. That person resists arrest. He tries to kill the police officers. That person. So what do? You have to use force. But if you don't use force when it is necessary to be used, then you are failing in your duty. But another person who is not a police officer, if he uses force, then he'll be doing something which is not required to do, not expected. That becomes failure. do something which is not qualified, is not required. So stick to your own dharma, even if it is unpleasant. Viguna happy, even if it is unpleasant duty, do it as worship joyfully with gratitude. Thank you for letting me do this. And work is a privilege. By serving you in this way, I'm going to reach you, O Lord. That is the beauty of Sanatana Dharma. So all this system out case, everything falls flat. Kurvan napnoti kilbisham. A police officer does not incur sin if he uses force. Kilbisham na apnoti. But if ordinary person who has no business using force, they'll be put in jail for the same. If an ordinary person goes and uses force on someone, he'll be punished for that one. Police officer does it, he'll get a reward for that one. So duty is different for different people. What is one's duty is not another person's duty. By doing our own duty as worship, our mind becomes pure and paves the way for God realization, self-knowledge, everything. We'll go to 48. The instruction, don't change your line of duty. Do swadharma. Sahajam karma kaunteya sadoshamapi natyajet sarvarambha hi doshena dhumen agnirivavrata. O kaunteya, work determined by nature, sabhava, sahajam karma. Though a defective, sadoshamapi, one should not abandon, natyajet. For all activities are shrouded in flaw. Sarvarambha doshena avrataha. Just as fire is shrouded by smoke. Any work you take, highest kind of work, most glamorous from the outside, if you go there, you'll see the difficulties in that work. You not see the defect from the outside. It looks everything nice and fine. Every work has some negative aspect in it. So therefore, with whatever work we have been given, come to me, doing it as worship, I will reach God. Give this an example. Just as a fire, wherever you set up a fire, some smoke will come. There is no smoke without fire. In the same way, wherever some work is there, some defect will be there. Some are sattvic karma, some are tamasic karma, some are rajasic karma. Sometimes you have to do things which you don't like to do. Like clearing the snow in winter time, who likes to do it in cold weather? This is a duty. So no need to change it. Examples are Risika in the Dakshineshwar temple, Amzad, and then Dharmavyada story in Mahabharata, the mother lady cooking, cleaning, and the meat cutter, all did their own duty and reached God realization. So that is as simple as that one. 46, 48 we did. No. It's a long commentary here. 49 we shall read. You come across your Naishkarmya Siddhi in this shloka 49. We'll understand what is that one.
We didn't do 48?
48 we didn't do?
No.
Oh, did I skip one?
We did 47. We are now on 48.
Yeah, Sahajam Karma Kaunteya. 48. Sahajam Karma Kaunteya Sadoshamapi Natyajet Sarvarambha hi doshena dhumen agnirivavrataha. Kaunteya, Sahajam Karma, work that has come to me because of my nature. Sadoshamapi, even if it has some defect, Natyajet, we should not give up. Every work has some negative aspect, some positive aspect. It's a package. So whatever work has come to me because of my nature, Sahajam Karma, that I should do, even if it has some negative sides to it, unpleasantness to it. If you become a doctor, not you will be always enjoying difficult moments are there in the surgeons. They have to do that surgery, so responsible, neurosurgery, all those things. I know a person who is a pediatric neurosurgeon, small children, very delicate. Fracture millimeter means big difference in So nowadays they have robots to do all those things. So it's not easy. So much preparation needed. It appears glamorous to be neurosurgeon from outside. When you become a neurosurgeon, you know how tense it can be in surgery during surgery. So, sarvaram bahi doshena agniriva dhumena avritaha. Just as fire envelops, just as smoke envelops fire, in the same way, some negative aspect will be there in every line of activity. So whatever is the work that comes to me naturally, or which I have accepted, that I have to do as worship, though there may be some negative aspects of that work.
Also, Swamiji, sometimes work falls in your lap by chance, not as a duty in life. That also one should do, right? Because it's up to you by the Lord.
You don't want to do because it is.
Huh?
You don't want to do some work because of what?
No, sometimes some work comes in your lap otherwise in some circumstances. Like you're going, somebody has an accident and you're passing by, something like that. I'm just saying. But that's also kind of a duty because why are you there?
Then that becomes a sadharma for that moment. You can call 911, or the person needs some help, you can render. But that is only until the actual people, 911, EMT and police of the county, then can you call 911, such accident has taken place, people are injured, please come like that. That's your duty then. Special duty. On certain special occasions, our duty becomes different. Samanya dharma, Vishesha dharma. Daily duties that are same day to day. On special occasions, some special circumstances come, then you have to do something different which you don't do ordinarily every day. Like that. That for that moment, that becomes your dharma. Okay. Sahajam karma kaunteya sadoshamapi na tyajet sarvarambha hi doshena dhumena agnirivavrita. Work determined by nature, though defective, sadoshamapi, one should not abandon, not tyajet. For all activities are shrouded in flaws. Every activity has some kind of negative aspect to it, just as fire is always shrouded by smoke. So it goes back to shloka number 10 in chapter 18. Adveshya kusalam karma kusalena anusajjate. Akusalam karma means unpleasant duty. And working utility work, construction worker is so hard. They have to work, and when it is snowing, everybody is inside their office or home. Nicely heated, they have to work outside in the snow. And the electric people have to climb. Sometimes there is a fear of electrocution, risky, dangerous work. So this is the nature of work. If you are there, you have to do it as worship. Difficult, some jobs are difficult to do, but that's we ended up somehow. Somebody has to do it for the well-being of the society, like that.
But then you're saying it's all God's will. There is no free will. I mean, don't we make bad choices and choose things, and then we are stuck with them?
It's your own. You gravitate to that job because of your nature. It propels you in that direction. Sometimes you can change. If you're in a dead-end job and it's not pleasant, stressful place, you don't have to be there. See if you can acquire get some new qualification, some new thing, and see if you go to a new job in a proper way, then that becomes your new job. It's possible. You don't have to be stuck in the same. You can change it. Flexibility is there. But whatever you choose to do, that becomes your new sadharma. That may also have some defect, which may not be visible before you go there. But okay, let us stop here and say the closing prayer. 48, we finish. Om sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramaya, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om, may all be happy. May all be free from diseases and other problems. May all realize and practice what is noble, dharmic, and auspicious. May no one be subject to any kind of suffering. Om peace. May there be peace and joy in our hearts. Adhyatmika Shanti. May there be peace and harmony amongst all beings. Adi Bhautika Shanti. May there be peace everywhere in nature. आदिदैविक शांति. हरि ओम तत्सत्. सर्वं श्री रामकृष्णार्पणमस्तु. 49 50.